And this month we're reading the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Thanks for coming to our channel, Read, Grow, Share. We are on section 4, and this covers persistence, okay? So basically in this, she's talking about, in persistence, she's talking about doing whatever you love to do, being creative, taking those risks, and not giving up too soon, most importantly, is what she emphasizes in this chapter. On page 142, she says, but that's not what you have to do at the beginning. Everybody imitates before they can innovate. I think this is true with anything in life. Before we start being creative, before we learn our true selves, we try to be other people. She talks about in her book how she developed this southern accent, which she didn't have before, and because she was trying to imitate someone else in their writing style before she got her own. And for me, it's like in speeches, I admire great speakers, and then whatever they say, and it's just like I try to be like them just when I was new at speaking, just because I hadn't developed my own style yet. It's new, it's something that you'll come across whenever you're creating whatever you're trying to create, but you will find your own voice. And I think you just need to trust in your own voice, like she emphasizes in this chapter as well. So the bottom of page 156, we're still in persistent. She says, people do not do this kind of thing because they all have extra kind of time and energy for it. They do this kind of thing because their creativity matters to them enough that they are willing to make all kind of extra sacrifices for it. Unless you come from a man of gently, that's what everyone does. I like this. This particularly struck out to me because it's just like every day it seems like something else comes up that it pulls me away from my creativity, away from this channel, away from other videos that Zim and I are trying to do together. It's just always something. My boss wants me to write a paper at work, or my friend just had a breakdown. It's always something. But like she said, here's always going to be something in life that's going to try to pull us away from our creativity. But what's important is to make sacrifices for our creativity and find time for it, and to stay persistent in our tasks.
Exactly. If we enjoy what we do, we're gonna make those sacrifices, and we're gonna make time to do it. And we enjoy our book club, so we've been sacrificing. We've been giving up our time, going to the mall, going to the movies, and hanging out here reading.
Zim and I were just talking today. We're like, well, what are we sacrificing? And it's just like, I want to go to the mall. I don't want to be here recording a video. But like she said in the beginning of the book, she said, hey, if a creative idea comes to you and you accept it, accept that idea and make a commitment to it, see it to the end. So Zim and I are like, hey, we only got 2 views on our channel because our book channel was at the bottom, not because it's not good, because our book club is amazing, right?
Exactly. I don't know what's wrong.
Exactly. So we were getting tired, like, let's just do it the old way, where we got together, ate nachos right after work, breathtaking, everything, and let's just do it that way. But it's just like, but hold on, we had this idea, we made a commitment to creativity. So today is a Friday, it is 4:49, and we just came from sushi. We did just go to sushi, but we did say, hey, instead of going to the movies, instead of going to the mall shopping, we will stick it through and continue to make these videos because we made a commitment to creativity.
We're keeping up with our end of the contract with creativity.
Exactly. So what I want to ask you is, do you have any ideas? What are you committing? Are you making any commitments to your creativity? Are you seeing your creativity through? Are you staying persistent like Elizabeth Gilbert says in her book? If so, please tell us what you do below. We want to hear it from your comments. We want to hear what you have to say. What are your ideas about this?
So moving on about just creativity, it says the essential ingredients for creativity means exactly the same for everybody. Remains exactly the same for everybody. Courage, enchantment, permission, persistence, trust. All those elements are universally accessible. Which does not mean that creative living is always easy. It merely means that creative living is always possible. So anything we want to do, anything we want to create, it's possible. No one says it's going to be easy. Like my camera classes that I want to take, I finally signed up, excuse me, but I finally went online, and I looked on YouTube videos of how to actually use the camera, the functions, all these settings and everything, and it was very complicated and confusing. I've never used a camera with this capability, so I was kind of discouraged, kind of scared. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to handle this. But thinking about it, I was like, eventually I'm gonna get comfortable. I'm gonna be able to do this. It's gonna get easier as time goes by and with more practice. So I signed up for these classes and they should be starting up soon, but I'm looking forward to it. But it's not easy, but it's possible. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll get to test it out. We're gonna go to Austin, so we'll see the beautiful views and see if I can capture those, right?
Yeah, we're going on a hiking trip to Austin, so Zim's gonna bring her camera that she's looking at these YouTube videos and take a lot of pictures. And what you're doing, we would love to hear. Please join our conversation. We want to hear from you. On page 159, she says, on the second paragraph down, she says, I do not know of any artist, successful or unsuccessful, amateur or pro, who does not long for that kind of time. I do not know of any creative soul who does not dream of calm, cool, grass-growing days in which to work without interruptions. And basically, I think that makes sense to me because to me it's like I said before, it's always going to be interruptions. But I always thought, okay, well, next week will be better. Well, tomorrow will be a lot better for me. Well, maybe the weekend will be better. Sundays always seem to calm down. But the truth of the matter is, like she said here, tomorrow won't calm down. Successful people, even though they're successful, they still have a lot of things going on. And they still deal with this thing of interruptions as well. So it's a matter of not trying to get rid of interruptions altogether. It's working through them and persisting on your craft is what I took from that.
So on the next part, Fear in High Heels, on page 166, she talks about, it starts by forgetting about perfect. We don't have time for perfect. In any event, perfection is unachievable. It's a myth and a trap and a hamster wheel that will run you to death. And that hits me hard because I always think I'm a perfectionist. And to me, if I can't create anything that's perfect, in my mind, I believe it's not good enough. And I need to let that go. It's saying that if you're trying to strive for perfection, it's just going to kill you. It's going to kill your creativity. It's going to kill your soul. It's just not going to make you even put yourself out there because perfectionism is unattainable. And they mentioned that. We cannot reach for it. So I need to make myself realize that nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. What I do, what I put out there should be good enough. And I think you guys, whatever you want to create, just do it to the best of your abilities. And then in the end, you'll enjoy it. You'll have your product and whatever it is, it's going to be good enough.
Exactly. Everybody uses perfectionism as some kind of, oh, well, that's a good thing. Like Zim always said, well, I'm a perfectionist and that's not good enough. And I'm not a perfectionist, not like she is. She's a real perfectionist. But perfectionism isn't a good thing. So you guys that are perfectionists out there, it's not a good thing. Elizabeth Gilbert said that's not a good thing. She says that's like fear in high heels. It's not sexy. It's not good. Yeah. All right?
And I can also use perfectionism as an excuse too. It's also an excuse I use because I'm afraid. But I have to be more aware that it's unattainable and that if it is fear that's holding me back, I have to be able to break through that. Slowly, surely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I thought this was interesting. On page 168, she says, she essentially talks about how men that are watching this channel, I would love to hear your opinion on this, but Elizabeth Gilbert essentially talks about men who are like 41% qualified for a job, and they'll be like, fine, sign me up, I'm qualified, give me the job. Whereas women who are 99% qualified will say, hey, I'm not qualified for the job, pass me up. And I think this is interesting because CFO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, I recently read a book of hers, and she says the same thing, that women in charge everywhere she goes, whether it's speaking and within Facebook as well, women are just less aggressive. Men will come in during meetings, they'll sit at the table, they'll ask questions, they'll be really aggressive, whereas women will have a tendency to sit away from the table, not be as aggressive, not ask for raises, not ask for the next position. think that they're not qualified, feel torn between this and the family. Whereas Cheryl Sandenberry and Elizabeth essentially say, lean in, go get it, be hungry. Don't say, hey, just because I'm a woman, I'm not qualified. Brene Brown also speaks on this. You're worthy. You have what it takes. Go out there and get it. That's why Zim and I were talking. That's why men are so successful in this world. I look at all the major leaders, and a lot of them are men, not simply because they're better, stronger, or smarter. It's because they think that they have more, and in actuality, they don't. So I have to, and it's for me too, I struggle with this, but I have to put that in the front of my head. I am qualified. I am capable of doing this job. I am worthy to do this job. I am worthy to create. People will listen to me, and that's how I go out and get it. And let me know what you think. I mean, are you struggling at work with a feeling of worthiness? Do you feel like you've seen this more? Is it opposite of what you've seen? What do you think?
So in this part, she talks about nobody's thinking about you.
174, second paragraph.
So she says, we all spend our 20s and 30s trying hard to be perfect because we're so worried about what people think of us. Then we get into our 40s and 50s and we finally start to be free because we decide that we don't give a damn what anyone thinks of us. But you won't be completely free until you reach your 60s and 70s when you finally realize this liberating truth. Nobody was ever thinking about you anyhow. They aren't, they weren't, they never were. So yeah, so in our 20s and 30s right now, our peers, everybody, we're trying to impress everybody. We're doing everything according to everyone else's standards, but we need to realize that, I mean, when we're getting older, and you were mentioning that this nurse that was taking care of hospice patients, that she was interviewing these older patients, and they were saying that one of the things that they regret is that they should have just been more free or just didn't care about what other people think and just did what they wanted to do earlier. They realized that later. And she said it here that we need to realize that no one is thinking about us, no one cares about us. We just need to do us. Do what you want to do you. No one cares. Do what you want to do. Put what you want to put out there. Create what you want to create. Because in the end, what you want to do is you're doing it for yourself, not for anyone else. And if they like it, they do. If they don't, oh well, somebody will. Right?
Exactly. My mom always says, just to tag on to what Zim says, my mom always says, stop being so self-centered, Danielle. Nobody's thinking that much about you anyway. Nobody cares. And the same thing with us. It's like we build up this whole momentum, but like Zim said, nobody cares. So whatever you want to do, like Zim said, do it. I agree.
Holding yourself back is yourself.
You. Yep. On 176, towards the end of the second paragraph, she says, the world is filled with too many unfinished manuscripts as it is. I didn't want to add another one to that bottomless pile. So no matter how much I thought my work stank, I had to persist. I think this is good, just because it's so easy to start something. When we started this book club, for instance, it was fun, it was exciting. We were living the creative life. We're doing it. We're getting out of the mundane. We're breaking that cycle. And now it's just like, hold on, I gotta give up my weekends. I actually gotta come over your house and sit with you and make videos. I wanna go to the mall. I wanna go to the movies. I wanna go home and take a nap because I'm tired. It's just stuff like that. But like she said, the world is filled with unfinished business, unfinished manuscripts, a bottomless pile. And Zim and I don't want to be in that bottomless pile. We made a commitment, a contract with an idea, and we're committed to seeing this thing through.
So we're going to persist.
Persist.
On 195, so you must keep trying. You must keep calling out in those dark woods for your own big magic. You must search tirelessly and faithfully, hoping against hope, to someday experience the divine collision of creative communion, either for the first time or one more time. Because when it all comes together, it's amazing. I think that hits me a lot because I keep telling Danielle I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what I am good at. I don't know what my purpose here is. But it's telling me that I must keep going. I must keep trying. I must keep searching. I cannot give up. Eventually, inspiration will come knock on my door. Something, some clue is gonna tell me what my purpose is, what my passion is. So I'm just gonna keep following those clues and keep on searching and keep on listening to anything that can guide me to where I need to be. So I'm gonna just keep going. I'm just gonna keep finding this. I mean, life is too short to just stop and just think this is it. So I'm listening. I'm searching.
We completed persistence, guys. That wraps up persistence. Yeah, that's the end. A Big Magic Persistence Part 4. Thank you for joining us. Please leave your comments below. Welcome, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our website because we're amazing. We have amazing things to share with you guys. This is a community to read, grow, and share.